Greetings, this is Ron.
This is Fellonius, and welcome to Chapping number 1.
This is a show in which two chaps each bring a random mystery topic to share with each other and see what the other person's point of view is.
Yes, and I'm get to start this one, and my first topic is snow. And the reason I'm picking this is because we are living in two different type of countries. My country, Sweden, is known to be very snowy, and I know for a fact that Chicago, or at least Illinois, could be just as snowy as Sweden. Now, how much snow do you have at the moment, Ron?
Right now we just have a light dusting in the grass. It's actually more ice. We've had some sub-freezing temperatures and then like 40 degree Fahrenheit, so it's enough to let it rain and then freeze to ice. So we don't have a lot of snow right now.
That sounds nice. But I know that you have snowstorms and stuff over there, right? And that brings a lot of problem.
Yeah, so I mean, I live basically in Chicago, is the nearest landmark. We have all 4 seasons: summer, fall, spring, and winter. We have the extreme heat in July and the extreme cold in January. That's where we are right now.
Yeah.
And this extreme cold is the part I hate the most, but I am a fan of snow. We typically get like once a year, we might get a big dump of snow, 6 to 12 inches.
Yes.
Stays a few days and then goes away. And then maybe 2 other times a year we get like a light dusting.
Okay.
So
and it's problematic, right?
Well, I mean, we are used to it. So like our municipalities all have the trucks with salt and snowplows standing by. So we can handle it, unlike some of the southern states that never get snow. When they get just a half inch of snow, it completely shuts down the city. But we generally don't have that problem.
Exactly. And I feel like you are better prepared than us. Because now I'm going to tell you what happened just a couple of weeks ago. Suddenly we got a lot of snow. Now, I'm doing the metric system, so you have to, I think I can do some sort of turnover.
That's fine.
We got like 20 centimeters. I think that's about, well, I'm not totally sure, but it's like 20, no, it's not. Well,
3 centimeters per inch. So it's almost 7 inches.
7 inches, right. And that's not much snow for me. For me, who has been doing this, living in this freezing cold Sweden for so long, it's not much. I'm driving a bus in this weather, and I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
But there are people in this land who suddenly think it's catastrophical. It is the worst weather they've ever experienced. And this is actually what I'm after. How come they are thinking that this is bad? I mean, you're saying that in Chicago, you're used to this.
Yeah, I think people have a short attention span, but I mean the reverse. So whatever is happening to you right now
is what is going on.
Is going to be forever, So me,
yeah,
I'm like...
How come they're not using their own experience? I mean, this happened last year, it happened the year before, and so on and so forth. This is going to happen in the future forever. And suddenly they're sitting there, it's coming snow. What? Now? In January? How strange. No, it's not strange. It's totally, typically Sweden.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's wrong
I'm not going to name any names, but there's somebody very close to me who, if the weatherman says that 2 days from now there's going to be snow, they will cancel all their plans. And that's all they will say. Anytime you mention, I need to run to the store, or this or that. Oh, you better go today because it's going to snow 2 days from now.
Well, I think that is a good thinking, of course. We had the same warning. We had a class 2 warning, actually. That's rather bad weather coming up, and that was 2 days from now. And I was thinking, well, I have 2 days off. If I use the first day when the weather is okay, then I will be free to sit in and watch the bad weather on the second day. Do you know what happened, Ron? It didn't become any bad weather at all.
Exactly.
So, yeah, live like every day were the real weather. Now, snow to me is good. I like snow.
Yeah, for me as well, I don't get to enjoy it like I did when I was a kid.
Oh, good. That's a good thing.
But for me, when I think of snow, the first thing that comes to my mind is downhill skiing. But more importantly,
Skiing? Okay.
yeah, and more importantly though is Beach Boys music.
No kid.
So when I'm
Hold it. Beach Boys is California. It's not snow. It's sun.
but skiing is, to me, I mean, I've never been a surfing guy, but
okay.
when I'm skiing around, putting on surfing music, and it just somehow
It's
snow.
the same motion, right?
Yeah, it makes me think of sliding around and jumping little bumps and stuff.
So you are skiing if you are able, every year or so?
When I can, we have a small little hill near us that has a ski lift on it, and I haven't been in several years though. But
No. Well, I haven't never been because I'm not a sporty person. But back in the days, we did our sleigh riding. Of course, we did. What do you call those little ones you go on?
the sled,
Well,
Yep.
no. Well, what you do in the. Never mind.
like on the hillside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a sled. We go sledding, toboggan.
And I really liked that when I was a little one. And it was also a bad thing about snow is that if you are bullied, you are going to be getting a lot of snowballs over you. But I usually get away with it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really liked to do was building igloos or something like that, having big piles of snow and you dig a hole in it and try to make it strong enough. The problem with that is that when the plowmobile came by next day, it threw more snow over it and covered it again. And thankfully you weren't inside.
Oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid, we were having snowball fights, and we would make little walls out of snow.
Yeah.
And there was some bigger boys that lived down the block, and they had a big pile of snow, and they did exactly what you said. They hollowed out a tunnel through the snow, and then they could run and dive into the tunnel and slide through the tunnel and out the other end.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
we thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, but there was a lot of cool things to do with snow. And I'm living next to preschool, actually. It was the normal school before, and my son was going there. But today it's preschool. And they have a hill with, I don't know, 70 feet of hill.
Wow.
It's not much. It's not going fast. But it's a long one. And actually, I can stand in my window and see and hear, especially, kids having fun in the snow, especially the first day when the real snow comes. They are out there, and people are always enjoying snow when they're kids, right?
Oh yeah, I just remember when we started to use that technique to dig out our own snow forts. Our parents used to always tell us not to do that and not to go in them because they were afraid it was going to collapse on us.
Yeah.
And then we'd be trapped under the snow.
I think we were pretty good at making those ones. I'm no architect, but we were very concerned about making sure that we had some icy things as well. We used heat to make sure that it's frozen inside. Mm-hmm. I had some guys who knew exactly what to do because they had done it before, and we learned from each other back then. I liked that time. Snow is always a positive thing. Even if it's winter, it's cold, as you said, it's not the fun part, having the cold. And well, But I'm soon to be 60, so I'm sitting inside looking out.
Yeah, I overall enjoy snow. I generally don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, but I always think that there's a lot of memories connected to snow, not to winter, to snow. Mm-hmm. And that's a bit of a thing, because I don't have the same amount of memories to leaves in the fall or the sun in the summer.
Yep.
Or the flowers in the spring. I don't really have. But the snow is always bringing me good, positive memories.
Cool.
Cool. That's our first topic. Now your turn. What do you have?
I have to figure out how to turn my alarm off.
Yeah, he's having an alarm. That's good.
Well, I think talking about snow brings back a lot of good childhood memories, but
yes.
It also makes thinking about childhood memories. Have you had any spooky things happen to you?
Ooh, yes, there has been.
Do you have any ghost stories?
Not really, but there were. Kids, right? We were living down in the southern of Sweden back in the old days, and there was a big meadow, and on that there was an old house had been there, and their cellar block was still there. It's the foundation, so to speak, and the cellar. Mm-hmm. And these had iron doors at the one of the other ends. It probably could have been a barn or something. We don't know, because there was nothing on top of it. It was grass all over. But both doors was able to be there. And there were 3 rooms in that cellar. And the first one, you get sunlight in, so you can see it. The second room, you couldn't see anything. It doesn't matter which way you went in, it was the same thing. Now, the thing was, of course, to be a boy or to be a kid, proper to be in the gang or whatever, you have to go through there slowly, and you have to stay in the middle room for, I don't know, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 minutes, because no one was actually staying that much long, because there was always some guys with a torchlight or anything that went into the second room, mm-hmm. and they stand there. And they, of course, spooked everyone who's trying to get in there. And I didn't wet myself, I didn't. But it was really, really spooky. Now, once I did this, and I don't understand why I did this. This is actually a memory that I have probably just tried to forget. But once I did go there by myself. No one was there. I was alone. And I knew I was alone. There was no one in there, and I was thinking, I can just go through here. And when I got to that second room, I got a chill. I got a chill down my spine that made me just turn around and go back again. Quick as, well, I ran. I usually don't run, but that one I ran. And I don't know why. I have no idea. I never went back to that place ever again. Ooh, that was my first spooky experience.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever gone. I must have, but I can't think of any time where I've ever gone into an abandoned building like that. I think the closest thing would be like a parking garage late at night, like at a where there's no one around and you're there alone or something like that. But I've always been more cautious of like a prowler, like a human than a supernatural.
But kids always try to convince each other about the spookiness.
Yeah.
So you must have heard someone say something about don't go there because.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, the first spooky occurrence I can remember was we had this big field out in back of our houses, and there was a creek, and you could walk this path along the creek where it had been worn down from kids walking around there all the time, but is all overgrown. So as you're kind of walking down this path, you've got the creek on the left, and like a hill on the right with trees overhanging the path. So it's kind of like a secret tunnel that you're going down. And we used to play there all the time, running back and forth, playing all kinds of...
You knew the area so well, so yeah.
Yeah. And this one time when my sister and one of my best friends and I were the only three out there, and we were walking down, this path, and I decide I'm going to try to spook these kids because they're a little bit smaller than me, but I decide I'm going to try to tell them. So I start telling them this story that this place is haunted by Old Man River.
All right. You have heard that, yes.
And that if you stay too long, or if you're here alone, then the spirit of Old Man River will come and get you. And and just talking about it, you can see they're starting to get a little bit on edge, and I'm kind of chuckling to myself like, this is a good joke, stupid older brother kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, the wind out of nowhere just picks up. Really strong wind starts coming down, and all the trees start shaking, and this big tree limb, you just hear it groan as it shifts in the wind, and we all just look at each other and run.
Yeah.
It was like as if telling this tale summoned it. So I got what I wanted. I definitely spooked them, but I also scared the crud out of myself.
Oh dear.
At the same time.
Well, you can't explain it, and you don't want to explain it either, right?
No, there was like, I don't remember there being any wind or ever hearing the trees creaking like that before. It just was the perfect timing. Maybe it was something else, but. And we also had at that same spot, when I was older, one of my friends and I were up at this school playing basketball. It was pretty late at night. It was dark anyway, and we start hearing like somebody rattling some metal chains or something like that. We're thinking maybe it's somebody nearby in their garage or whatever.
Yeah,
and we hear some noises, and we think, well, let's just start going back home, and we have to kind of go down that path along the creek to get home, and we start walking, and all of a sudden we look back sort of behind us, and we see this big dog running towards us, dragging a metal chain.
Oh dear.
And we start running, so we're running down this path, and I don't know how, we're teenagers, so we can run pretty fast, but dogs are much faster. It should have caught us, and it wasn't making any sound except the metal chain. You didn't hear it barking or growling or anything.
You were thinking Cujo, right?
I don't know. But I almost felt like I never really got a good look at it either. I just knew that this dog was running towards us, but I couldn't tell you what kind of dog. It was partially in shadow. So we run down this path, and this dog is like right at our heels, and we get to this backstop, which is like a 2-story high chain link fence that they use to catch, the baseball behind home plate. And we both, he drops the basketball, and we both climb up to the top. We get to the top of this fence, and we're looking around, and we don't see this dog anywhere. We don't see nothing. It was right behind us, and then suddenly it's gone. Okay. And we sit up there, and we're panting and freaking out, and then we're like, okay, maybe it's gone, maybe it left. Some time goes by. We finally convince ourselves to jump down. And as soon as we hit the ground, suddenly we hear it running towards us, and we hear the chain rattling again. And then we finally got to the fences and climbed into backyard, and then again it was just gone, like it was never there. But it was really, we couldn't explain it. It was just such an odd thing in that sort of path along the river.
That's the point, right? You couldn't explain it.
Yeah, I mean, you would think you would hear the dog or see him. We just couldn't see him at all once we stopped on top of that fence and looked for him. We didn't see him walking around. We didn't see him go away. And yet,
But that's also something that is important to think about because, I mean, you and I are rational human beings, right? And if I'm asking you, do you believe in ghosts, Ron?
no, I think we would see them a lot more often or something like that.
Yeah, but still, you can't explain that.
No.
That feeling. Now, I only got a chill. Perhaps I could explain that with the ventilation, but it was underground. There was no ventilation.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you can't explain it, you can dismiss it as not being there at all. But you was thinking about a dog. I mean, you can't just imagine a dog together with your friend.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's impossible.
Well, and it like the chasing us, and something about the fact that it was dragging the metal chain.
Yeah.
And we could hear the chain rattling on the ground, but we couldn't really hear the dog.
You couldn't even hear the dog's paws touching the ground. And that gives us the ghost feeling, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying this. I don't believe in ghosts as such, but I cannot explain some stuff that's going on.
Sure.
It's not logical that ghosts are around. It's not. But there are things happening, and you hear stuff, and I cannot explain it.
Yep. So we had some good memories of snow and some scary, spooky memories.
Yes.
In this,
but it is things that you might go around and think about, and then you think, oh, I would love to hear about how does he thinks about this. And many things I've been thinking about is just, what would Ron think about this?
Yeah.
Now I know one thing.
If there's something you want to hear two chaps and what they think about it, let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll include it in a future episode.
And it will not always be our kids' memories, but we'll start there.
Yeah. So bye for now.
And thanks for listening.
Cheers.